They're fearsome, forthright, and fiery. And without exception, all 5 dragons are self-made success stories. Tonight, we'll tell you how they made their fortunes. We begin with Brett Wilson, the den's most prolific dealmaker.
I'm very comfortable. I would do this deal by myself. I like you guys. I like the business. I'm going to give you $500,000 for a quarter of the company. Are you interested?
Yes, we will accept the deal.
Great.
All right.
Great.
This isn't a business, but let's do it.
And his generosity extends well beyond the den.
Thank you. It's done.
Preparations for Brett Wilson's annual garden party.
We've got 500 or 600 people coming to my house tonight.
Every year, Calgary's creme de la creme gather and give big for a charity of Brett's choice. This year's shindig raised $100,000 for the blind.
If you want to join me in the other room, I've got some very significant pieces that I'm quite proud of.
Brett certainly enjoys the perks of being rich.
What we've got up here, this is a piece called Birches, done by Ernie Lindner in 1968.
Like his priceless collection of Canadian art.
He painted from 1940 to 1970, give or take, and I'm absolutely smitten with his work. Oh, come on here, this is a little more kitschy. This is a piece called Manitoba, it's a Métis Indian. It was done by Joe Fafard. This is my dog. It doesn't quite fit the genre, but it's a pretty important dog painting, so.
But his story has rather humble beginnings.
Well, there's no doubt that I'm a prairie boy, and I love the line that you can take the boy out of the prairie, but you can never take the prairie out of the boy.
Oh, look at the geese.
Brett was born in North Battleford, Saskatchewan, where hard work and sacrifice are common traits.
It means that we grew up in a province that was really built by entrepreneurs, because really the hunters, the trappers, and the early farmers were the first entrepreneurs as they opened up the West.
And Brett's father was no different. He spent months away from home working in the oil patch.
The first 6 months of my life he was away.
He surveyed in the north and with an oil company and came back, and Brett didn't recognize him, and that really, really bothered him.
I was crying. I wouldn't let him come near me.
I've been gone for 3 months. I come home and he didn't even know who the heck I was. So I said, that's not.
It told me a lot about my dad in terms of the true prairie gentleman, as many people would refer to him. And it's about doing what's right. And Dad gave up a career that was pretty lucrative to move back to small town Saskatchewan.
Like his father, Brett faced the same choice, but he took a different path, one he'd later regret.
My family life was great, but I don't remember having a particularly fond school life. So for me, the breakout point was finishing high school. I was still 16 years old and heading off to Saskatoon, and that was a brand new start.
In fact, right up here in the corner, that was my room.
I was no longer labeled as one of these, geeky brain kids. It was, a room full of geeky brain kids, and I finally found my home, if you will, for a while.
Brain power was one of his assets, no question about it.
At the University of Saskatchewan, Brett honed a talent for numbers, a skill that still comes in handy.
How many people sell into that market, the 100%? Because I'm going to tear you apart on your 2% forecast, but let's go back. How many players are there that own the 100%?
Being perfectly honest, to say lots.
But the other answer is you don't know. And so to forecast that you're going to get 2% of a market that's right now held by 75 players with 75 product lines, you're delusional. At the time that I graduated, I had 12 or 13 offers of employment in Alberta. Go west, go further west, go to the oil patch.
Degree in hand, Brett arrived in Calgary during the 80s oil boom. He opened his first business brokering oil and gas properties.
The deal flow was incredible. This was Alberta, and the beginning of just an incredible boom in energy, and I was right in the catbird seat with my partners. My previous highest earning year had been $150,000, and there I was making that every month.
Wheeling and dealing became addictive, and getting rich came at a cost.
Working those kind of hours, that kind of pace, took its toll emotionally for sure. It was difficult on my family, and yet at the time I rationalized what I was doing because it was for my family. My kids know I love them because I'm working hard.
Being a big success at work meant something had to give. His family life, a fate his own father managed to avoid.
My father did it right. You know, he made a decent living, and he was around for his family. I made a phenomenal living, and I wasn't around for my family.
In 2001, the Wilsons divorced, and on the day it was finalized, Brett was dealt another painful blow.
I remember turning to my secretary, we were in an open office, and I said, we can close the divorce file, and I had a file on my desk, and I slapped it closed. And then about an hour later, the doctor called me, and I was at my desk, and said, the results are back, and it's not good. You've got a very advanced form of prostate cancer. I had sacrificed family for wealth, and it was a trade-off that wasn't worth it.
Brett conquered the cancer, but that wake-up call helped him refocus his priorities.
What I have now with my 3 children, 10 years later, I'm very proud of. I've been to 35 countries with my kids.
And those journeys involve a yearly visit to build homes in Mexico, one of Brett's many philanthropic commitments. And a recent highlight, carrying the Olympic torch through Calgary.
The other thing I've discovered is that wealth can create opportunities for changing other people's lives. And it's not that I'm just handing out $10 bills on the street, but one of the neat things about Dragon's Den is seeing the opportunities to truly change someone's life.
I love your passion. I love the business that you're attempting to go into. Is there a probability of this being a success? Yeah. Is it high? No. But is it worth taking a shot at? I'm willing to.
Do we shake your hand now?
Look forward.
Thank you.
All right, pleasure.
And I remember chatting with one of my children, my son, actually, when I talked about the fact that I was going to give away all of my wealth. And he looked at me and said, but Dad, what happens if I'm not successful? And I kind of smiled and said, let's have a conversation about how you define success. And I said, I really want you to think about success as happiness. And if your needs are many, you may never be happy. But if your needs are few and easily met, you might always be happy.